Hello everyone, welcome to Advanced Knowledge Systems and a warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy, which is one of the premier institutions in India, and it offers examination coaching for UPSC CSE, State Public Service Commission, SSC Combined Graduate Level Exam and CLAT examinations. And about me, I am Sandeep Bhushan and my credentials are I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I take up international relations and internal security and the analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And this session will be certainly useful for you because I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases from the daily newspaper, which will help you for both prelims as well as mains examinations. And while you imbibe the keywords and the key phrases in your answer writing, it will be very much understandable that you will score higher marks in the mains 2020 also. So certainly this session will be helpful for you for both mains 2020 as well as prelims and mains 2021. So do follow the entire session of AKS IAS Academy daily news analysis. And this is in regards to the DNA of the Hindu newspaper, that is today's, that is 15th of December 2020. And before we get into the DNA, we will look at the quote of the day. And the quote of the day says as, when it hurts, you observe it. That life is trying to teach you something. So definitely whenever something hurts you in the due course of your attaining success, that means the life is trying to teach you something. So this is the quote: when it hurts, observe, life is trying to teach you something. And now we'll get into the daily news analysis of Hindu newspaper. And Defense Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh has made it very clear that on the sidelines of the standoff with China, which is India facing with China in the eastern Ladakh, is definitely, the defense minister has made it very clear, it is an unprovoked aggression on the Himalayan fronts. And this unprovoked aggression is a reminder that how the world is changing, how the existing agreements are being challenged, and how power is being asserted not just in Himalayas but across the Indo-Pacific region. So the statement made by our Defense Minister Rajnath Singh on the sidelines of the standoff or the skirmish or the face-off between India and China along the LAC in the eastern Ladakh is very, very important because it talks a lot. The statement speaks a lot and it is very crucial for the UPSC mains perspective. That is how the world is changing, how existing agreements are being challenged, and how power is being asserted not just in Himalayas but across the Indo-Pacific region. So this statement can be taken into consideration for the mains 2020 UPSC examination. And the Prime Minister has referred to this while he was addressing an annual general meeting of the FICCI, that is Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. And then he said that when it comes to the power, that is hard power, definitely the kind of China is aggressively trying to go ahead with India along the LAC in the eastern Ladakh. But compared with China, that means India is far ahead in leading the world with ideas. So leading the world with ideas is the key phrase which you need to focus, which has been made it very clear or referred during the annual general meeting of the FICCI. So India is definitely leading the world with ideas. So this is nothing but this is that we are ahead of China in regards to the soft power. So soft power is the one wherein India is ahead of China by leading the world with various ideas which will be beneficial for all or the global countries. And now we will look at the strategic forefront, what India has, or else Defense Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh has made it on the annual general meeting of the FICCI, and he said that India will have definitely a strategic forefront because of its location, size, population and economy, and therefore India has always been at the strategic forefront of the global security. So this is the keyword. Global security is the keyword which you need to analyze, that how strategically India is always at a strategic forefront of global security by providing or by making sure that India is leading the world with ideas, that is with the soft power. With the soft power, India has the strategic forefront of global security. And Mr. Singh has also emphasized that India has been a victim of cross-border terrorism, and he has also made it very clear that the world now understands what India was trying to time and again repeat and make the world understand, that Pakistan is the fountainhead of terrorism. And the chief of the the three staffs chief has also made it very clear that Indian forces are brave forces and they are fighting on the icy winds, and definitely they are guarding our borders with fulfilling their responsibility. So when the brave forces or the soldiers are fulfilling the responsibility, the Defense Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh, while he was addressing the annual general meeting at the FICCI, he has questioned, now can our industry also stand shoulder to shoulder with our forces? So here what is very important that you need to take it into consideration is that we are linking the industry, that is FICCI, with the Indian brave soldier. So that is what our Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has questioned. He says the question is now, can our industry also stand shoulder to shoulder with our brave forces who are guarding our borders and they are fulfilling their responsibility. So here the two keywords are the industry, Indian industry, and Indian brave soldiers. And definitely India is the largest armed forces in the world, and India being the largest armed forces in the world, it is an import dependent. India is import dependent on critical areas or in critical areas, and because we are import dependent in critical areas, there is a necessity of the technology, and he made it very clear that the technology, now the time had come for India to look into the future of war fighting and imbibing the technology into the system. So it is a need for India to imbibe the technology for war fighting, and thereby making sure that whatever we are into the mode of import dependent in critical areas, we need to again get into the mode of indigenous preparation so that we are ready for imbibing the technologies into systems through the indigenous methods. So this is the information which you need to look at for internal security as part of GS paper 3 internal security. And there is another news which talks about the government is ready to use the poll roll data. Here the keyword is poll roll data. Now the government is definitely trying to take the advantage of the poll roll data to allot or to get into the mode of the COVID-19 vaccine, so that the COVID operation guidelines which has been released by the health ministry now looks at the COVID vaccine intelligence network. So COVIN is COVID vaccine intelligence network. This system is a digitized platform, and this digitized platform which has been released by the health ministry will be used to track the enlisted beneficiaries. That means it will track the beneficiaries who are definitely into the mode of being administered the vaccine on a real-time basis. So CoWIN is the keyword, which is a digitized platform, and this will track the beneficiaries for the real-time basis. And these guidelines also, which has been released by the Health Ministry, has said that the latest electoral roll of Lok Sabha and the Assembly elections will be used. Why it will be used? To identify the priority population. That means the priority populations are the one who are above the age of 50. So the electoral roll by the Government of India will be used to identify the priority population to administer the COVID-19 vaccine, which is definitely in the mode of being prepared by the various government agencies. And for the administering of the COVID-19 vaccination, pre-registration is a must, and the guidelines by the Health Ministry has made it very clear that only pre-registered beneficiaries will be administered in regards to the vaccination, and this will be in regards to the prioritization, and there will be no provision in regards to the vaccinating which will be based on the on-the-spot registration. So no provisions for the on-the-spot registration, but the guidelines makes it very clear that only the pre-registered beneficiaries will be prioritized and they can be administered with the vaccine. And the Health Ministry has also offered that the vaccination would be administered to the healthcare workers, frontline workers, and persons who are above the age of 50 years. And then later on, persons who are younger than 50 years and the one who are associated with the comorbidities, that means who are having various other diseases or illness, will be based on the or will be considered based on the pandemic situation. And finally, the one who will be offered or administered the vaccine is the remaining population, and that remaining population will be administered based on the information of the data of the disease epidemiology and the vaccine availability. So certainly the Union Health Ministry has come up with the guidelines to administer the vaccine, that is the COVID-19 vaccine, and the government is ready to use the electoral roll of the recent or latest Lok Sabha and Assembly elections. And the another news talks about the food inflation. So the keyword here is the food inflation. So the food inflation has dropped to 9.43% in the month of November. So we will look at the India's retail inflation. We would, before we get into the food inflation, or while food inflation is part of the retail inflation, now the India's retail inflation, which is based on the CPI, that is Consumer Price Index, is marginally moderated, or it has come to a little bit of progressive or positive in the month of November to 6.93%, wherein in the month of October it was higher at 7.61%. So the India's retail inflation based on the Consumer Price Index in the month of October 7.61, but in the month of November it has moderated marginally towards the positive signal, that is to 6.93%. But the food price inflation is definitely cooling off, that is it is dropping from 11% in the October to 9.43% in the month of November. So certainly the retail inflation based on the Consumer Price Index and the food price inflation has come down marginally, and definitely it is a positive sign. So we will look at what is inflation. So certainly inflation is that is the price rise of various products. It could be because of the prices production is not there, or there is a hit to the global supply chain system because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation, and the imports and exports have been badly hit because of the economy has been drilled down. So for that, the inflation, that is the prices of the products have raised or it has increased. That is why the inflation has also increased. But if you look at, there is a moderate, marginally it has come down. And there are two different, the retail inflation would look into, that is the rural India. If you look at both the retail inflation and the food price inflation in rural India, the retail inflation and the food price inflation are about 0.5 percentage higher than the previous, or else higher than the urban India retail inflation, food inflation. So if you look at the rural India retail inflation, food inflation, it is higher than the urban India. It is higher than the urban India retail inflation and food price inflation. And the National Statistical Office combines both the rural and urban inflation so that they can arrive at an all India inflation rate. So who is the one, or which is the office which combines the rural and urban inflation? It is the National Statistical Office. So this is the keyword which combines the rural and urban inflation to arrive at an all India inflation rates. And the states which are highest in inflation is Bihar, which is recorded at 9.8 percentage, and followed by West Bengal with 9.42 percentage, and next comes the Andhra Pradesh 9.0, and then the Telangana with 8.99 percentage, which are definitely recording higher inflation in India. That is the various states in India. And comparing it with the lowest, which are recording, the states which are recording the lowest price rise, that is inflation in the country, is Delhi with 3.43 percentage, Punjab with 5.3 percentage, and Kerala with 5.49 percentage. So we need to have an idea of which are the major states which are of or with higher inflation or highest inflation, and which are the states of with lowest price rise or lowest inflation. And we know that the food inflation is lower and it has moderated the consumer price index. But if you look at the core inflation, if you look at the India's core inflation still remains at high, around 5.5 percentage. Why it is remained at high at 5.5 percentage? Because the protein inflation is still high in the food index, or else the inflation of the food index inflation. If you look at protein inflation, that means the products which are or protein products, the prices of the protein products are very high, because Indians or Indian citizens are now concerned about the protein food products, for protein products, so that now the Indians or the Indian citizens are consuming or they are maintaining much of protein in their diet. That is why the protein products, the prices of the protein products are very high, and that is why the food in the food index, the protein inflation is still high. That is why the core inflation still remains high, even though lower food inflation, but protein inflation is very high. And the wholesale price index is based on inflation, or WPI based inflation is definitely higher when you compare with the October month it was 1.48 percentage. We are talking about the WPI. We did discuss about the CPI. So CPI, when we look at, that is consumer price index. So you need to know two indexes, retail inflation indexes, that is CPI and WPI. CPI is for the month of November 6.93. For the month of October, it was 7.61. Now you have to, as a civil servant aspirant, you need to also look at the WPI, that is wholesale price index, which is for the month of November, it is 1.55 percentage. And if you compare it with the October month, the WPI, that is wholesale price index based inflation, is 1.44. So this WPI based inflation has rose. Please do understand, look at the figure statistics from 1.48 percentage to it has increased to 1.55 percentage. But if you compare this CPI based inflation, it has moderated, or it has reduced marginally from 7.61 to 6.96. That means WPI has increased and then CPI has decreased. So this is the analysis what you need to look at, and this all India inflation rates will be decided by the National Statistical Office. And there is another news which is in regards to the renewable energy park. With 30,000 megawatt renewable energy park will be, the Prime Minister of India will lay the foundation stone for the world's largest hybrid renewable energy park in the Kutch district of Gujarat. So this is the key phrase for the current affairs, that is in regards to the environment. That is in regards to the environment, or in regards to the climate change or climate itself, if you look at. So definitely there is a probable question that the world's largest, highest or hybrid renewable energy park is located at which among the following places. So it is in the Kutch district of Gujarat, and it will be, the Prime Minister will lay the foundation stone on December 15th, that is today. And this world's largest hybrid renewable energy park will generate 30,000 megawatt through solar panels and windmills. So by the solar panels and windmills, the generation of 30,000 megawatt power will take place through the hybrid renewable energy park, and this will be on a 72,600 hectares along India and Pakistan border. And this renewable energy park, or the world's largest hybrid renewable energy park, is being set up by the government, Gujarat government, and private players. So when we look at the private players who are being part of the project or the energy park is Adani Group, which is the country's largest renewable power generator. So which among the following is the largest renewable power generator? It is Adani, which is one of the private players which is in participation with the Gujarat government, which is setting up the world's largest hybrid renewable energy park at Kutch district in Gujarat. And along with Adani, it is Suzlon, which is also part of the private players being part of the Gujarat government. And this Suzlon company is the dominant player in wind energy. So definitely for the prelims perspective, for current affairs, which among the private players were being part of the world's largest hybrid renewable energy park by Gujarat government is Adani Group and Suzlon Group, and it will generate 30,000 megawatt power, and it is the world's largest hybrid renewable energy park which is in Kutch district of Gujarat. And along with the park laying down the foundation stone, Mr. Modi will also lay the foundation stone of desalination plant, and also on the automated or fully automated milk processing and packaging plant in Kutch district. So along with the park, it is the desalination plant and the milk processing and packaging plant which our Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lay the foundation stone. And the desalination plant will have the capacity of 10 crore liters per day. And this desalination plant, the importance of it or the advantage of the desalination plant will strengthen water security. So this is the very important keyword which could be in your mains questions for the mains 2020, because strengthening the water security. So you have the national security, you have internal security, and now it is the water security. To strengthen the water security, the Prime Minister is laying down the foundation stone for the desalination plant, wherein now this will complement the existing one in the Gujarat, that is the one which is definitely into desalination part. It is the Narmada grid, and it will also, that means the desalination plant will complement the Narmada grid and also the Sauni network and the treated wastewater infrastructure. So this can also be part of your short notes for the mains examination in regards to the question or the strengthening the water security, how the government of India is strengthening the water security through the desalination plant, which already existing one, it is complementing the existing one, that is the Narmada grid, Sauni network and treated wastewater infrastructure. And this salination plants will be one of the five salination plants which the government has taken into consideration to set up along the coastal regions of Kutch and Saurashtra. So it is the salination plant and the milk processing and packaging plant, and this is the solar or renewable, largest renewable energy park through the solar panels and by the windmills. So this is again very crucial for both prelims as well as mains short notes also. And there is another news which talks about the stealth frigate, and the stealth frigate, the name of the stealth frigate is Himgiri, and Himgiri is first of the three stealth frigates which are being built by Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers, which is based in Kolkata. And these stealth frigates are being built under the project called as Project 17A for the Navy, and the stealth frigate Himgiri will be launched into water on, or it has been launched into water on December 14, 2020. And the stealth frigate, that is the ship, has been sorry, P-17A, the name of the ship is P-17A, and this is the most advanced state-of-the-art guided missile frigates. Once it will be inducted, it was launched but it will be inducted, and which has the capacity of 6,670 tons, and it is the guided missile frigate, that is the stealth frigate called as Himgiri. And the contract for the construction of the three stealth frigates is estimated at a value of 19,293 crores. So Himgiri is the one of the three stealth frigates which has been built at the Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers. And this project is unique because it is built simultaneously at two locations, that is at Kolkata, and also Kolkata, that is GRSCE, and as the Mazgon docks in Mumbai. So it is been built simultaneously in Kolkata and Mumbai. That is why the project is unique. And you have the Fincantieri of Italy, which is the know-how provider. That means Fincantieri of Italy is, or it will provide the know-how for the technology upgrade and for the capability enhancement of the project, that is in regards to the stealth frigate project. And there is another one, that is another series called as series Saksham, which is in Goa, and which is the fifth and the last offshore patrol vehicles. So OPV, which is the series of Saksham, which is the last, that is the fifth and the last, which has been built at Goa shipyard, and it was launched in water, and it will be delivered to the Indian Coast Guard, which it requires, and it will be delivered by October next year, October 2022. And these offshore patrol vehicles are the indigenous ones, and it has been launched on November 13, 2016, and it will be delivered to the Indian Coast Guards by October 2021. Launching is done in the year 2016, and it will be delivered to the, or it will be given to the Indian Coast Guards by October 2021. So here also we have various keywords which you need to focus that it will be useful for prelims as well as can be used as a short notes for your mains examination, that is in regards to the internal security or national security, how we are ready with the stealth frigates. And there is another news which talks about the India Britain, they are definitely getting into the mode of discussing to upgrade the ties between both the countries, and British Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab will meet India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar with various other ministers. Meeting will take place on December 15, 2020, and this will be a 3-day visit by the British Foreign Secretary and the group or various other ministries from the Britain. They will have a 3-day visit to India, and this visit will certainly be important because definitely India has invited Mr. Johnson, that is the Prime Minister of UK, as a guest for Republic Day celebration. So that also will be discussed, and the Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab, who is also the Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs, will discuss various or range of agreements, and this will also include the relationship or to upgrade the relationship to a comprehensive strategic partnership between India and UK. So this is the keyword what we need to look at, because that means India and Britain do enjoy this strategic partnership. Please do understand, India and UK do enjoy this strategic partnership, but there would be discussion to upgrade the relationship from the strategic partnership to comprehensive strategic partnership. This is the keyword. You as a civil servant aspirants, you need to look at what is the development which is happening or the upgradation of the ties between India and Britain. That is, from the strategic partnership, both the countries would get into the mode of discussing so that they can upgrade the relationship of the existing strategic partnership to a comprehensive strategic partnership, which is expected or scheduled to be signed. That is, comprehensive strategic partnership between India and Britain is expected to be signed during Mr. Johnson visit, wherein India has invited Mr. Johnson as a guest for the Republic Day celebration of 2021. And the Foreign Secretary visits will pave the way for further strengthening of the partnership. So the strengthening of the partnership between India and Britain will also take it into consideration in various streams, that is in trade, defense, climate, migration and mobility, education and health sectors. So these are the one which you need to focus as a civil servant aspirant for prelims as well as mains perspective, because these are the areas wherein both the countries are trying to discuss to make sure that they further extend it to comprehensive strategic partnership and strengthening the partnership in trade, defense, climate, migration and mobility, education and health sectors, which is in the post COVID-19 and post Brexit context. This is the key word here. Very important is post Brexit. That means December 31st 2020 is the last deadline or the last day for the Brexit officially, that is UK to exit from European Union. So based on or else post Brexit issues, India and Britain are strengthening or they are paving the way for the strengthening of the partnership in various fields. And India and United Kingdoms have enjoyed the strategic partnership since 2004, but now both India and United Kingdoms are definitely getting into the mode of upgrading the relationship to comprehensive strategic partnership. So here there are two keywords, that is strategic partnership. Both India and UK have been enjoying since 2004, and probably in the year 2021 when UK Prime Minister Mr. Johnson would be as a chief guest to the chief guest to India for the Republic Day celebrations. There is a possibility that our relations, that is strategic partnership relations, might upgrade to comprehensive strategic partnership, and both the countries will discuss on the framework of comprehensive strategic partnership. That means the foreign secretary's visit to India, that is the 3-day visit, will definitely get into the mode of discussing on various issues, that is trade, defense, climate, migration and mobility, education, health sectors. Along with that, they would discuss on the framework, that is rules and regulations or guidelines for the comprehensive strategic partnership, and they will also include in the framework of the comprehensive strategic partnership the defense and strategic relationship. They will include defense and strategic relationship. Along with that, they will also have the discussion of the Indo-Pacific policy, on the trade, and also on the cooperation of renewable energy. And this cooperation on renewable energy, because they would wish to strengthen the partnership between India and UK even in regards to the climate. That is why there would be a discussion on the trade, defense, climate, education, health sectors, and migration and mobility, along with the Indo-Pacific policy also. So this is another keyword between India and Britain, that is Indo-Pacific policy, along with the various others. And the officials are also hopeful that there would be an announcement made in the 3-day visit by the Foreign Secretary, UK's Foreign Secretary to India, for an early harvest for free trade agreement between both the countries during the 3-day visit. So another keyword is the free trade agreement between India and UK. There could be a possibility. And on the defense agreements, both the countries will have a mutual defense logistics support agreement. So this is the key phrase here. Which agreement India and UK are going ahead with negotiations is in regards to the defense negotiation, that is defense logistics support agreement, and which is in the advanced stage. And when we compare which are in the process of negotiations, which are just started, is G to G mechanism, that means government to government mechanism for the defense deals. And the one which has just started or it is in the process is defense training memorandum of understanding. So which is in the advanced stage is the defense logistics support agreement between India and UK, and the one which are in the making or which are just initiated is the G to G, that is government to government mechanism for the defense deals. And the defense training MOU is in the process, and the two sides may conclude the defense technology and industrial capability cooperation agreement. So DTICC agreement is a crucial keyword which should certainly be part of your short notes in regards to the defense agreement or defense diplomacy between India and UK or Britain, defense diplomacy. So definitely you have the trade diplomacy, defense diplomacy, and also the climate diplomacy, that is COP, which conference of parties will be discussing on various scenarios how to combat the carbon emissions. So DTICC is the defense technology and industrial capability cooperation between India and UK, which was signed in the year 2019, and the two countries are now very close to signing for the GT2 agreement, that is government to government agreement for the jet engine technology development. So another keyword or the agreement is in regards to the jet engine technology. So all these keywords are crucial for the defense diplomacy between India and UK, and both the countries, or that is the discussion of the 3-day visit, will also emphasize that UK has made a pitch for India or to India for joint to technology development. So along with the jet engine technology development, along with the jet engine technology development between India and UK, and also the defense technology and industrial cooperation agreement, and also in regards to the defense logistics support agreement, these three. Now UK is also pitching for India for making sure that they have the joint to technology development of the sixth generation fighter technologies, wherein which it can include in the India's fifth generation advanced medium combat aircraft. So here it is the joint technology development of sixth generation fighter technology. And the UK has also announced plans to deploy the liaison officer. This is the fifth one, to deploy the liaison officer where at Indian Navy's Information Fusion Center for Indian Ocean region, that is IFC IOR. So this is another keyword that UK has also agreed to deploy a liaison officer at the Indian Navy's Information Fusion Center for Indian Ocean region. So definitely Indo-Pacific region and Indian Ocean region are strategically important for India as well as UK also. And by the deploying of liaison officer, it will improve the maritime domain awareness. This is another keyword. By deploying the liaison officer, it will improve the maritime domain awareness from both the countries' perspective. And the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to travel to Glasgow, that is UK, for the next UN climate change conference, that is COP26, which will take place in November 2021. Almost an year later or 11 months later now, that both the countries would come together or having their close cooperation and partnership in regards to fighting global warming and building renewable energy technologies. So in regards to the climate, both the countries would fight global warming and they would build renewable energy technologies. So certainly the areas which would be discussed during the course of the 3-day visit is between India and UK is trade, defense, climate, migration and mobility, education, health sector, and definitely the one which we will be talking about is the guidelines for the comprehensive strategic partnership, and also on the free trade agreement. And along with that, as we have discussed in regards to the defense logistics support agreement, defense technology and industrial capability cooperation agreement, jet engine technology development between both the countries, that is government to government agreement, and on the jet technology development of sixth generation fighter technologies, and then deploying the liaison officer, and also expanding both the countries' cooperation in fighting global warming and building renewable energy. So all these keywords should certainly be part of your short notes for your mains examinations. So I hope this is an important session, and now we will recapitulate the DNA. So definitely India was talking about or emphasizing on India has edge over China, or it is ahead of China in regards to the soft power, wherein our Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has made it, or he has emphasized at the annual summit at the FICCI. And the government will use the electoral roll data or electoral data for allotting COVID-19 vaccines. So this is in regards to the health we have looked at, and this is in regards to the internal security or national security, and this is in regards to the economy we have focused, how the food inflation and the core inflation and also the CPI and the WPI inflation, the consumer price index and WPI wholesale price index based inflation is increasing or decreasing we have looked at, and this is in regards to the renewable energy park. That is, again, this is based on the environment, wherein we will be focusing on the environment and also the water security. We have discussed this water security, and this is again in regards to the internal security, how Himgiri will be a stealth frigate ship which will be useful for making sure that we are ready to go ahead with combat any kind of activity taken up by our enemy countries. And this is in regards to the international relations, that is India UK bilateral relation or diplomacy. So we have looked at it at an comprehensive manner, which will be useful for both prelims as well as mains perspective, and we have focused from macro and micro level. And I hope this was a very informative and knowledgeable session, and I would say a very big thank you to all and a good luck to you all. That is, may you always be at the right place at the right time. And now I would say, stick to your consistency, stick to your schedule, and take care of your physical health and mental health. And then do not forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe the AKS IAS English Medium YouTube channel, and also have access to the website, and then subscribe to the Telegram link of AKS IAS Academy, that is Advanced Knowledge System. And I would again come up with the daily news analysis tomorrow. And I hope this session was very informative, knowledgeable, and I would say a very big thank you to all and a good luck to you all.